Now, the stepfather of a 15-year-old boy who's been left with serious brain damage after jumping off a pier in Kent says life will never be the same again. Jack Dolan spent 8 minutes underwater after attempting a front flip from Stone Pier last month. He's now been given a life expectancy of between 3 weeks and 2 years. Our reporter Josh Bailey has been to meet David Dolan.
There's nothing I didn't do without him, whether I was taking him to work, taking him to the gym, taking him to the pub. He came everywhere with me. And I loved having him there, like he was my best mate.
And the fact that will never happen again, what man does that make you feel?
There isn't words for it. There just isn't. Like, it's devastation doesn't even come close. I've lost my son and my best friend.
A bitterly cold and misty day on a quiet Folkestone estate. But just yesterday, a baby girl, not even a year old, was attacked by a dog believed to be an ex-bully. Police take remains across the property with a police car and officer outside of it. This woman knows the family and can't believe what's happened.
It is shocking. We sat there yesterday and we weren't expecting it. You know, you see and you hear about it all the time, but you don't think it's going to happen to your own family. The dog was lovely. It come out of nowhere. I just feel so sorry for the family.
The dog was immediately seized and destroyed, but the girl remains in a serious but stable condition in a London hospital. A 76-year-old woman and an 18-year-old man have been detained and are still in custody. Depraved and vile plans that changed Holly Willoughby's life. That's how Gavin Plum's offences were described in court today. He argued that these were just fantasies, but DCI Greg Wood of Essex Police dismissed this.
He is not a fantasist. He's a calculating sexual predator who has spent his adult life seeking to inflict violence on women.
Earlier, Mr Justice Edwards Murray sentenced Plum to a minimum of 15 years in prison, believing he was a threat to all women.
Although the offences of which you have been convicted concern only one woman, it is clear from the evidence, including your prior convictions, that you pose a significant risk to women generally.
The 37-year-old from Harlow in Essex was arrested after he disclosed his plans online to an undercover police officer in the US. Putting on the heating, having a cup of tea, cooking a hot meal. These are everyday essentials. However, this winter it may become impossible for millions of pensioners. I'm standing here amongst the piles of clothes which are going to be keeping people warm this winter. Neil Charlick fears people will die without the winter payments.
This is a bad idea. We need to look after these people. People will die because the weather is changing very, very quickly.
Despite the backlash, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, says the cuts are necessary due to the state of the country's finances. Text messages, social media posts, group chats or statuses. These are all things that can have a huge impact on a child's mental health. And research in Kent shows 15% of children admit to bullying someone online. Gemma is from Gravesend. Her 15-year-old son, Tristan Taylor, took his own life in 2023. And while the inquest found no evidence of online bullying, she believes it did play a role.
There was so much that we learned after his death that had we have known, what was going on or how much was going on, it might have helped us to support him better.
How does that make you feel?
It feels very unfair, I suppose, because we still don't have access to anything. I miss him every day. And it's, like I was saying, I'm never going to see him have kids, leave school even.
The Online Safety Act is now in place to try and prevent such tragedies. It makes sure social media companies and search services are playing their part in keeping users safe online. However, Matthew Scott, who is Kent's Police and Crime Commissioner, believes more needs to be done.
What we've done is we wrap our young people up in cotton wool, quite rightly, in the physical world, but online it's a free-for-all. And we're not doing enough, I think, to protect young people from those harms.
One suggestion has been to ban phones in schools, a move which Shadow Education Secretary Laura Trott is behind and wanting to make it a law.
I've spoken to pupils who talk about how much better they feel about school, how much it's reduced bullying in schools, how much it's helped children to learn, and how much safer it has helped children to feel.
And this is what the John Wallace Academy in Ashford have been doing for the last year, making pupils lock their phones away in pouches at the start of the school day. Reva Boylan is in Year 8 and she tells me it's had a positive impact.
Very nice, because you go to school now and everyone's talking, everyone's playing card games, everyone's playing like random games you make up, everyone's just talking more.
Psychologists say a complete ban is not the answer though, and it's all about balance. Michelle Hodgkiss is from Therapy Partners.
It can easily go from being something that is great to use in terms of education and self-development. It can easily spiral out of control and become something that can be detrimental to a young person's health.
80% of parents who took part in the survey say they would support a full ban of smartphones in their child's school. And it's hoped that this research will promote more safety and awareness, but also help shape healthier attitudes towards phone use.
Hello, Ski.
Hello.
We're in Medway today in a council and a local authority that's really struggled, that has been on its knees financially. We see this nationally as well, local authorities struggling all across the country. What will you be doing to support these local authorities, support these councils, to make sure they have the money to support their constituencies and their towns?
Well, you're absolutely right. Many councils in Kent, in Medway and other places are struggling financially. That's across the whole country. And that's because huge damage has been done to our economy by 14 years of failure. We've had the mini-budget, which caused real problems under Liz Truss. We've had 14 years now of mismanagement of the economy. We need to turn that around, which is why a stable economy is central, is right there as not only a really important mission, but one of the first steps, because it's only through that that we can ensure that we have the finances to make sure that our councils are properly funded. And with that, because I know this really matters to the voters, that the public services that they rely on are provided for them in the way that they would expect. That is what change means. That is what turning our back on this chaos and division means. That is what rebuilding our country means. Thank you.
Queen Camilla arrived in a drizzly Canterbury just before midday. She was welcomed by hundreds of people, along with the Whitstable Sea Scouts band, of which 13-year-old William was lucky enough to be a part of.
It's quite exciting. Quite a lot of pressure as well, though, because, well, she's the Queen, so, yeah.
The Queen then unveiled the statue of Aphra Ben, and I spoke to its sculptor, Christine Charlesworth.
It is a bit unbelievable, and I know that she's very much into reading, the Queen. She, unlike me, already knew an awful lot about Aphra.
After an hour-long visit inside the Beanie Museum, Queen Camilla then came outside and shook hands with pretty much every member of the crowd, including Jess and Lucy, who made this pretty serious pledge.
I'm never washing my hand again. Yeah, we did kind of freak out a little bit and just go, hi.
And you can find the sculpture along Canterbury High Street. Right now, Maidstone fans are probably in the pub nearest the Crown drinking, and funnily enough, that's exactly what they were doing this morning as well.
Looking forward to it, and I think we've got a good outside chance.
Oh, it'll be an amazing experience. I think they're going to win 5-0, but I said that against Ipswich, so anything can happen.
A sea of yellow then flooded all the coaches, and fueled by Wetherspoons breakfasts and pints, they were ready for the 3-hour journey.
We've got to be optimistic, but, the longer it goes on 0-0, I think the best chance we got.
Oh, very excited, yes. Yeah, 2-1.
It probably won't happen again in my lifetime. I'll be very surprised. We'll get to the 3rd round maybe, but not to the 5th round.
For me, the message that came across from these fans is that today is not about the result, but actually it's about the memories they're going to be making with their family and friends that will last a lifetime.
And we start with the security guard who